And we are back. It's Carpool Chronicles with Hank, our new popular show that has been taking the softball community by storm. And we've heard a lot of criticism, I think more criticism than positive, which is usually the case when it comes to these things. People, they like to give their comments. But one of the things we heard was, why is it so short? That was our problem this morning. And today we're just going to let it breathe. We're going to see where it goes. We have some topics to talk about. But we have a very special surprise for everybody at home. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our special guest, our first ever guest on Carpool Chronicles with Hank. And please make yourself known in the back seat.
Welcome!
Let's go!
Let's go!
Sabon, say it. We are, go.
We are live!
Okay, so now we have obviously a very special guest, Sabon. There's so much to talk about. I know you watched the first two episodes, so before we get into the topics, first give us your commentary about this new format, this new show that Hank and I are attempting to launch.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm honored. And, just to get the point across, I don't come cheap. You know that. My services are not cheap. I'm in fucking giant demand. And I would not be sitting here with a bunch of mongoloid rabbis if I didn't think this was the #1 show on TV. Obviously, we'll never be as popular as Sabon After Dark.
Sabon, we actually hit, I don't know if you remember, we hit 9,000 views on one of our episodes of Sabon After Dark.
Yeah,
so
we're going to have to probably bring that back. That's in big demand. Just to recall some of the episodes with Sloth and Eric Greenberg.
Sacagawea.
We had the Indian himself.
And then Alav Shalom Disas.
You did one in Sage, right? You did one at Ralph's.
In Sage,
we did that live.
Oh, that wasn't. I thought it was Disas. It wasn't Disas. Yeah, it wasn't there.
No, he wasn't on the set, but we did a couple of interviews with him. God rest his soul. So, boys, here I am. I'm in the car. Let's go.
Okay, let's rock and roll.
Start the topics.
Okay, so I think there's a bunch of hot button topics that we want to get to, and some of them you both could really speak to. You were actually this gentleman's captain quite a few times. There's a lot of words that I probably cannot repeat about what you said about this individual, and at the same time you love him, and that is our good friend Marc Cohen. Marc Cohen right now is the hot button topic in the Brooklyn League.
Yes.
And there's a few videos that are being circulated around all softball chats, and one of the videos, it looked like his motion to Hebrew Hammer was actually pretty legal. But then the next video that I saw, it looked illegal. Now, from what I heard, there's a major controversy. The umpires are putting a stop to it, and he's saying if they can't change what I'm doing for 30 plus years, I'm going to walk off the mound and I'm going to leave. So now, what do you think about this grandfathered rule of Marc Cohen? And in general, what do you have to say about this entire topic? And look, I'm sure you've seen the videos.
I have. So first of all, let me just get something straight here. Marc Cohen and viral videos go hand in hand. I mean, Marc Cohen was the subject of Marc Cohen, you little sexy softball pitcher. I'm a tranny and I want to find your sexy balls. Don't you remember that? We all remember that.
I'm cringing.
He is synonymous with those type of videos, and this fits right in there. But I will say this, Marc Cohen has that pitch, to me,
it was filthy.
It's filthy. It is 100% legal.
Wow.
And the curveball.
The curve, whatever he did, the knuckleball, whatever. First of all, I want to just let you know, I gave him the name the 40-year-old virgin. He looks just like that guy.
Do you remember Mandil printed those pictures and put them all over the gates?
Yeah. And by the way, the term mandildo, of course, I also coined.
Anything that's a problem that we can't really say in public came from this man right here.
That is correct.
Okay.
So yes, getting back to that video, there is absolutely no way anybody should be complaining. You're talking about what, an 8th, 10th round type pitcher?
No, so in the Brooklyn League, he's not. In the Brooklyn League, he's a pretty high pick, and rightfully so. He's 4-0, and those pitches are very hard to hit, especially for these young guys. They've never seen anything like it before. But there's two videos, Sabon. The first one, I agree. The Hebrew Hammer one, I think, is legal. I don't
know. Hammer is a good hitter. He really is. And he should not be complaining because he complained. I saw it. I know he's going to watch us. You should not have complained. You got the hit. It rolled up the third baseman's leg and went into left field. So I don't know why you complained.
No, but the second video was a problem. The one they saw the slow-mo of, that looked complete silence.
That was more of a fastball.
That's his herky-jerky movement. That's how I always remembered him pitching. Don't forget, he was my pitcher.
That's what I said, yeah.
And there was one season, I believe we were probably about 10-2.
Yeah.
We went straight to the semis, and he had 19 walks in the doubleheader, and we blew the season. And I honestly wanted to decapitate him. I still do, but whatever.
But you also can't forget that dominant regular season that he had. So.
Yes, he was very dominant. He did have a great team behind him, and yes, I agree. Wherever he's picked in the Brooklyn League, he will be overpowering those guys. I mean, yes, there's some good players there, a lot of good hitters, but obviously I don't believe guys in our league would really complain.
Right, they don't bite, because a lot of them, like A.B. Saka was saying earlier today, he's throwing 25 miles an hour on that curveball. What are you complaining about?
Sit back and
right,
hit it.
Wait. Grip
Exactly.
it and rip it.
Yeah.
But the fastball, I think there's more of an issue to it, so I think we'll put this topic to bed. I just wanted to make sure we discussed it a bit. Because
good starting point. And again, just to finalize that, I saw nothing wrong with the movement or his pitch. If you're going to complain you can't hit a 20-mile-an-hour ball that moves, go take up Parcheesi.
Right? Oh, yeah, you're right. Or pickleball, as some guys are doing right now. But I'll tell you, that's it. That to me puts a stamp on it. If the Hall of Famer Michael Sabon Solomon's saying to shut your mouth, let the man play. That's it. And everyone else can go screw, as they say.
There was a lot of controversy about Eddie Harari. I know A.B. Saka was very into this when he had his drone flying overhead. Remember that?
Eddie.
I think Eddie's much more underhand than Mark is, especially with his fastball.
First of all, A.B. has a long-time vendetta against Eddie, just because they play the same position, and
Noni said one time that Eddie's better than A.B.
Right, and
I made a viral clip out of that. Remember?
And A.B. used to get picked where he got picked, and this guy came on the scene. But you know what? A.B.'s still a big battler, and you got to. I guess it's just for the ratings, but I guess all pitchers have that thing, just like Hank wishes he could be Sabon.
Right.
Right.
100% true. You're 100% right.
Sabon always reminds me. By the way, when I was 25, you know how far I hit the freaking ball? I hit it much farther.
Sabon, how old were you when I played with you in 2007?
2007, which would be almost 20 years ago.
Insane.
I am 51 currently.
So I saw you in your prime.
Yeah, it would have been 32, 33.
That Invincible squad, me, you, and Allie, and we had Dude Braca and Eric Mala and Jeffrey Saka. What a crazy team! A long time ago.
What's crazy? The fact that
Hank Towell.
Yep, he was great. Yep. The fact that we're still playing, we're still okay players, we're still relevant in the league with the young guys. We love it. Me and Allie.
You were MVP last year, no? You were up there.
I was up for it, yeah.
So, yeah, listen.
By the way, the fact that Sammy Sutton is not playing at age 40, how old is
39.
Ridiculous. You are such a good third baseman back in the day.
Past tense, tore my ACL, have screws in my ankle. Definitely could do it, but I'd rather talk it than play it.
Look at the man behind you. Look at his age and look what he's doing.
Okay, listen, there's not... How many Sabons are there in the world? It's not a dime a dozen. This is a gem. This is what it is.
It's true.
We're not just talking about the mouthpiece and that gorgeous silver fox hair. We're talking about the talent within the bones. So, meanwhile, I'm catching up, Sabon, on my whites. It's out of control.
Yeah, it looks good on you.
You know, take it. Like, listen, you have salt and pepper. I got... What do they call it?
You got salt and cinnamon.
No salt. It's cinnamon and sugar.
Paprika.
Cinnamon and sugar. Come on.
Salt and paprika.
Spice.
Sugar and
together.
spice.
It's so nice.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you forgot. By the way, everyone at home should know that Hank has a beautiful, angelic singing voice.
I heard I made a comment.
You're making me blush.
I made a comment on that. I will like to mention he's writing love letters.
Yeah, to his wife.
To
I'm
his
looking at it.
bride as the Tesla is moving
And
by
she's
itself.
calling him now, and now he's nixing the call. So I don't know what's.
During this episode, you will keep your hands on the wheel, or I will strangle you
I mean,
from behind.
it is a stick shift, or is it? No, it's not.
Yes.
Okay. Wrong stick.
Rated R.
Wrong stick to shift.
Always known for stick shifting and labeling.
Very true. Okay, wait. Let's move on to the next topic right now. Next topic. I mean, there were a few. Which one did you want to get to? Oh, you made a trade yesterday, Sabon.
Yes.
And you were enabled to lock yourself up in getting, in my opinion, the top position player and top available pitcher on the board.
Correct.
You got a pitcher in Yit Sutton who literally pitched you to the World Series last year. And you also got Zach Ashkenazi, who just made his epic comeback to M&S.
Correct.
And by doing that trade, obviously no one's faulting you, but you did put yourself in a very precarious situation where you can finally not have the opportunity to draft Allie. There's so many scenarios where you're not getting him. Obviously, there's other trades to be made if you want, but comment on that. Has Allie reached out to you? Did Allie's subpar postseason make you make this trade?
No.
So, like,
That's a definite not.
Talk to me.
So, listen, Allie and I were very good friends. We always have success playing together. People probably think we play together all the time, but I'm going to start with YMSL. This is only our
2015, right?
third
Last
time ever playing together.
yeah, but at M&S, you do it seems like every year.
Hold on, I'm going to get there. YMSL, we won a World Series together, and we lost in Game 5. Those were the 2 times. This is the 3rd year in 30 years that we're playing together.
Wow.
So that's that. Okay?
And
Now,
I played with you with him on Invincible. It's another year.
in YMSL.
YMSL,
Was
yeah.
that the World Series year?
No, we were a wild card team. You remember? Jeffrey Sackett threw his glove off the mound. We were crap.
So maybe that was the 4th.
Remember, we had Jack Jamal on left. Douglas Dwight had a fly ball, and Jack Jamal was running after it, and the ball went over his head, and we lost.
I can't keep up with every Mongoloid I played with for the last 30 years.
I just want to comment. Sabon used the word Mongoloid very, very often. It became a word in his vocabulary. I don't think he realizes how often he says it.
I don't think he knows what it means.
I do know what it means, and I classify many people as Mongoloids. But getting to your league, yeah, listen, the night league is different. I feel like me and Allie would like to play, together. Again, like I said, we had success. We were in the World Series the last couple of years together. We did not win together the last couple of years, but we do have one championship together on King Solomon, maybe even another. But, it's okay. I mean, yeah, I still want to play with him. If people are just going to pick him so I can't have him, then great.
And then so be it, right?
If you're picking him because you really feel like he's the best player there, then okay, we'll live. He's not asking me to overpay. He's not, he's fine with it. We're playing together in YMSL. Yeah, I'll put it out there. I would like to play with them in the night too. But I'm certainly not going to, get raped to do so.
It's not like the threesome of Melech, SJG, and Joe S.
Not like
No, listen, those guys are not for anything but 15 years younger than us. Me and Allie, how many more years do we have to play? 3, 4, 5? Those guys could potentially be playing till they're our age if they would like. I know they retired and came back. Yeah,
they're the Brett Favres of softball. We know that.
But, listen, I do want to play with him, but, we'll both live. If he ends up on a different team.
Understood. No, understood.
I reached out to Ali last night and I confronted him about this specific thing. He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Sabon wants to trade off at 15." That's what he told me. He's like, "Yeah, I can still end up on his team. He still has confidence. Are you going to trade away your entire draft?"
Maybe you're tipping the hand of Sabon right now.
No, I'm not. There's no deals in the works. If someone wants to reach out to me with something logical, then I would entertain it. But
at the end of the day,
if this league, who it's all younger captains. If they feel like they want to take a 55-year-old man for shortstop,
downplay the best player that ever played in this league. Yeah, that's a great idea.
There's your co-host trying to come up my my pick, but it's okay.
It's okay. Listen, I'm here for it though.
Right.
Okay.
He will go in the next 3 picks. I mean, it's
three picks.
It's Sol Assis, it's Jimmy, and it's him. Those are the best 3 position players.
What about
on the board.
a guy like, you know what? That'll actually
pitchers? Yeah, there's a couple of pitchers
So you know
that are
what?
on that level. But
Well, you know what? Then I will remember who takes them, and if they're missing something like a pitcher, like I'll take that pitcher at some point before them.
So
I will. Like Assis, I know he told me he could play other positions, and he's a great hitter.
So I'm glad.
Can I take a pitcher?
No. So in the first 8 rounds, whoever doesn't have a pitcher you can't stack pitchers. That's the rule.
Okay, I'll find someone.
But you definitely could take a guy like Ralph. You could take a guy like that Levy kid, who are backup plans as pitchers.
Well, listen, the draft pool is big. There's a lot of guys. I'll be fine.
Okay, you know what? You just segued me into Assis. I want to actually touch upon the topic of Assis. Sabon, I know he called you.
I reached out to him.
You reached out to him?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you reached out to me, and I can corroborate everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had, in the 18 years of this league, somebody more cocky and somebody more confident.
Even MC.
Even
No.
MC, yes.
I never heard a guy talk like this in my life.
And either have I.
Noni?
No, you don't understand.
No, this is beyond.
This is different.
These
This is
guys
different
pale in comparison of what this.
No,
he calls me up. Let me just Sabon could say his phone call, but let me tell you what happened. He calls me up. He goes, "Who's in your league?" I start telling him names. He's like, "Pfft." I'm like, "Well, what does that mean?" He goes, "I'm better than everyone here."
Yeah.
I said, "What are you talking?" He's like, "No. I'm better at everything than everyone in your league." I said, "Sol, you got to be able to cash the checks that you're writing. What are you talking about? You're better than Max Hadid. Max Hadid.
Right.
You're better than Yitzhak. Who are these kids?"
He laughed, honestly laughed, when he heard that Edmund was a first rounder.
Right? He's like, "What is it?" He told me.
He said he should not be picked till the 5th or 6th
Well,
round.
let me dial it back a little bit. This goes back all the way to a high school rivalry.
There you go.
I was the coach for YDE when Sol Assis was in 11th grade or 10th grade. And Edmund Beta, the Phenom, that's when I found him and discovered him, Nom, as we are now calling him, he came in for the team Shaare, and he mowed us down. And Assis was my 4-hitter, and I think Edmund had in the 13 or 14 strikeouts in a high school softball game. And no matter what I told my kids, they couldn't adjust. And ever since then, that real heated rivalry started brewing. Who's better? Who's this? Now, I will tell you, Assis throws hard. Assis has power. But his bugaboo is he can lose control a bit at times. And when he walks the ballpark, things can get ugly. Now, has he corrected that over the last few years? Maybe, I don't know.
So I've seen him in a tournament. He got to the World Series. In the 3rd inning, he must have walked 5 or 6 guys in a row, and his team was like, "What? We can't do this anymore. Let's get somebody else in here." And they took like the second baseman and put him in the middle of a World Series game in the tournament, and he wasn't gassed. I mean, they had a backup pitcher. His Achilles heel is the walk. Besides for his ego, it's the walk. The guy has a fastball probably on the same par as Navy has.
I've seen it, I've coached it, and you're 100% correct.
Listen.
He will not get shelled.
Okay, so listen,
His Achilles heel is his control.
I heard he has a lot of talent, and I'm not doubting that. But there's something to be said that when you want to come in and talk like that, you got to back it up and show somebody that you backed it up. So until he starts coming and facing people that we know, and we know that have been great hitters for a long time, you got to just shut your mouth and go to shul and shut your ass.
Is he a religious mongoloid also?
He's a major
He doesn't have WhatsApp.
religious mongoloid.
Doesn't have WhatsApp. His wife actually is on
Joyce.
the...
Shout out to Joyce.
Joyce, shout out. She's actually on the M&S broadcast, so all these videos they watch together. So, hopefully there's no kids on in the background.
He did confirm there will be no night satyrs and no McKnights, which I like. I'm telling you, if Melech didn't offer me that pick, I was taking this guy.
I know.
mean,
I know. You called
like,
me. I know.
I like the cockiness. I want him to come and prove it. I don't want him to be conceited about it.
Right.
You know, come in and
No.
let the game talk.
You're going to like this kid because he is a tough SOB competitor. He really is.
Listen, I happen to be related to the guy through marriage. And,
Really?
I know him since he's younger. And since he was in high school playing against you.
No, I coached him.
Oh, you coached him.
Yeah.
He was. Oh, whenever I saw him, he would tell me, "I can't wait to, to like."
I've been
play in
Sabon.
these
I've been
leagues."
recruiting him to M&S since he was on my team.
So do I think he's going to be good? I do. I definitely don't think he's going to come in and get destroyed. But like you said, it's a different league than maybe.
Listen, another thing we should keep our eyes open. Our league is pretty strictly enforcing your foot on the rubber at 46. That's not something I can say that is always the case in these tournaments or always the case in other leagues.
That's a Diamond State problem. I don't think that's a Sol Assis problem.
Exactly. It's the same type of problem. No. I remember I was always telling him, keep that back foot on the rubber. They're not giving you a hard time in high school, but what are they – and maybe not in LBA, but they're going to be ball busters when it comes to serious competition.
Right.
So let's see if that's an issue.
You want to spend a couple of minutes on Ben Hamel? Or?
But wait, yes, but before we
talk
do
about
that,
cocky.
Well, I do have a rookie
I'm hearing
report.
it's cocky 2.0.
But getting back to Assis, the word was, the term I heard was the SYs are shit softball players, and he faced the best J-Dub guys, and they have more fundamentals, they're better players, and we're a bunch of clowns that he would just come in and mow down.
I'm just happy he's in the league, and we finally get to see.
I want to see the hype.
Yeah, we all get to see what it's all about.
Maybe I'll take your ass next year.
Right, if he's back, if he can handle it. So, yeah, that's a big thing. A lot of times these people's egos can't handle the pressure and the bright lights.
You know what this reminds me of, Sam? The guy who always has to say he got the biggest dick day.
Right. Maxi Deed, like Maxi Deed.
Yeah.
Right. Longhorn, right. By the way, shout out to Maxi Deed. Maxi Deed has, just a whole background story here. He is the executive producer of Carpool Chronicles with Hank. It was actually Maxi Deed's idea that we acted on literally 5 seconds after he gave the idea. So big shout out. And Yadid, we are expecting big things for our next guest. So great get that Yadid got first day on the job. You have big shoes to fill that you just set high standard for yourself. So your shout out's over. So go shut up now. Next up, what's the next topic?
So the Shaare controversy.
Oh, see, I don't know much about
Sabon
this.
was there.
Sabon was there. So there was a Shaare versus Hillel game. It was a World Series game.
No World Series, regular season game.
Oh, so what are we making a big deal out of?
No, it was just they played. Okay, so my son is the first baseman for the varsity team.
Love that kid.
Yep, great player, great kid. A couple years he'll be, in M&S, and maybe one of you mongoloids could pick him, so I can't play with him either.
If we had a mongoloid count on the phone,
We're up
We're not slotting him with you when he comes into the league.
It's all right.
There's no slots.
there's no Lewis Nathan style, right?
Yeah, none of that. Yeah, you gotta pick him.
So they get to the field. These kids never played on the concrete jungle before on Avenue P, and they quickly got into a little hole. And I will say that the Hillel team has been excellent. This is their first loss in 2 years.
Wow.
This team, they were
who's the coach?
undefeated. Jackie Eshkenaz.
Oh, Eshko.
Yep, they did not lose a game last year. They went all the way, won the championship, and they were 4-0 until last night. The bottom line is they were down 4-1. I'll tell you, there was a kid on that team, Schwecky. I don't know his first name, but he's excellent.
Shaare?
Yes. Young guy, 16, 17. This guy was hitting bombs over the fence.
That's someone we have to recruit for M&S
I
this year.
think he played in one of the care tournaments, and they said he was good for, he was good. And I saw, this guy's ready to play now.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh, we did have Sully the Kid S's play at the age of 16.
Right.
And we had to lie to everyone that he was 18. But we're not, opposed to having young players. But
right,
yeah,
no, I think they should be out of high school. But anyway, bottom line is they went to the top of the seventh. Hillel's up. The score is 4-4. And the other guys we had bases loaded. I was coaching. I was the assistant coach at first base, Elliot Sacker, couldn't make it. They got out of that big jam, and then they got up, and this kid get up. His last name was Seti, and he hit a homer over the fence, or I didn't know exactly the rule. They said if it goes over the trees, it's a homer, but if it hits the trees, it's a double, because the fence is 150 feet at max.
Okay.
Maybe even shorter.
Yeah.
The one by IND Glot. That fence is nothing.
Yeah.
No, I think right field was talking about, right?
Yeah, it
right
was a
field?
lefty.
so it's
yeah.
Right field's even shorter.
Oh, it's
So,
much
yeah, it was
shorter.
like a 100-foot shot. Like, it was
Ridiculous.
crazy. So it just made it. It clearly hit the tree and trickled down, and Eshko went nuts because the guy called it a homer.
So who's the coach for YDE?
I don't know his name, but he made it like he didn't even see it.
Oh,
Well, he
God.
was full of shit, this guy. I'll tell you point blank he was. And we all walked over there, and the ball was sitting at the base of the tree.
Oh, goodness.
So we said, how could it have went in the street and bounced? Maybe it hit a car, he said, and bounced back.
Oh, so it seemed like a lot of funny business
It
going
was
on.
nonsense. But nevertheless, the guy hit the ball over the fence. So, in a big spot. And his name
Right, you're
was
not-
Seti,
you're
and
not
I
gonna-
refer to that as the day of Seti's Jubilee. I think you guys...
No, but listen, like you
Was
say,
that an Apple homer?
You're
or
not
was,
gonna- no,
That
you-
was a Ten Commandments reference.
you're not gonna get angry at the Jeffrey Mayer spot with Derek Jeter. Very similar.
Right, he was there.
He did it what he had to
caught the
do.
ball.
It went
Right.
there in a controversy, and the game was over. Like I don't think Hillel's complaining that it should be a protest. They're accepting defeat, but they will say there's an asterisk next to that game.
No, not so much an asterisk. They were pissed that they thought the other coach made like he didn't see it, and
Sabon, would you, if you're in that situation and you were that coach, be honest to a man, would you pull the same shtick that he did?
absolutely.
Okay, so
The
there you
kid
go.
hit it over the fence.
Right.
It was the homer. I mean, what
So let's not take the moment away.
Did it hit the tree? Were the rules a little unclear? Probably.
So that's it.
You
So
had one ump. He was Chinese, this fucking guy.
That's why he didn't
could
see it.
hardly see it
Right.
in the first place. So he made a call.
Okay,
So
that's it. Bottom line, made a call. We don't have to like the call. Controversy,
Right.
definitely. But like you said, if you're the coach of Shaare, you do the same exact thing.
Correct.
And you know what? Props to that Seti kid. And obviously, it was a nice rivalry that's starting to brew between Hillel and YDE. Always good to have it.
It sounds like Hillel still owns the softball. The softball.
Well, that's
world.
not true. Hillel should own the softball
Any
world.
softball coming out of jerseys
Is Max's my orchids, please.
Yeah.
Max's my orchids are not Hillel. They're all
It's
a school of 20 kids that have all-stars at every position.
They're all sick.
Right.
Right. Are they still
Sammy
that
Soroyo.
good? I mean, we know what came out of there.
No, I don't
But
know.
Is the crop
Is-
as good as...
Is Max still coaching is the question. I don't know. But Max learned how to figure out a way to squeeze every ounce of talent out of nothing. So,
No, but listen, there's some guys like his son and Soroya.
yeah,
and a
insane
few
players.
others.
Phallus.
There's millions.
Which Phallus?
Yehuda Fallis.
Oh,
Ridiculous.
Oh, yeah,
Ridiculous.
All of them.
The whole team was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's nuts.
But even Ralph Cohen, no?
By the
Joe
way,
Cohen.
No, Ralph.
if
Ralph
Ralph's
Cohen.
watching this, you're my boy. I love that
I
guy.
love Ralph.
I tried to get him to M&S this year, and
No, he's just a good
good kid.
kid.
Good kid. You know his family, right?
Of course.
Best family.
His dad is
No,
awesome.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice guy. I love him. He's always very respectful. Comes over, Sabon, I love you. You look great.
That's why you love him.
Yeah, of course. If he said Sabon, you're a dick, I'd say go fuck yourself. But he doesn't.
Did we touch upon every topic we wanted to talk about?
We can add it.
Anything else you want to add, Sabon? We're already at the 29-minute mark right now.
I mean, all I heard was complaints that the show was too short. We're barely on the turnpike. You want to cut this off now?
Well, I'll tell you why.
People will not be happy.
The people could shut up, though. I want to tell you something. Our first show was 19 minutes. Our next show was, this morning that we posted it, was 11 minutes. So now we're like the next 30 minutes right now. So I think this is a good barometer. And let's see if the people like this.
We can add a juicy topic. I mean, we can talk about the purple cobras. I don't know. We can
So
throw
what
something in.
do you want to talk about? Anything? We're here right now. Crickets? Nothing?
I think we'll save it for next
I'll
time.
tell you what it is. If I feel like we're dragging just to talk, I don't like talking. So
Look
like,
how fast
No,
that
there's
30
plenty of
minutes
stuff.
was.
There's plenty of stuff.
oh, I got a comment about. Let's talk about road rage. I had a few things that happened this morning on the street I wanted to talk about. First of all, do you remember what we spoke about? There was an empty school bus driving on the Garden State Parkway. That creeped me out. It made no
I
sense.
think we got to shut this down here.
No, that was just weird. It was like, what is an empty school bus doing on the Garden State Parkway? It was like, who are you going to pick up?
Right,
Where is
like
there?
a pedophile
Is there a
truck.
stop?
Right.
Where are you stopping? Like, okay, that was number one. Number two is, I want to let you know, we get out of Lakewood to get onto the road. I don't think there are worse drivers in the entire world than drivers in Lakewood. They drive like they all have Hank's self-driving car, and they have no clue. They cut you off without looking.
Yeah.
They don't signal, and it really, really, really
And
irks
they're
me.
all driving either Odysseys or Siennas.
No, or something,
Nothing else.
or a cyber truck. Like what? Like what's going on?
Yeah.
Very weird.
I was in Lakewood a couple of weeks ago at Entree, hoping to run into someone. I like showing up to Lakewood, maybe seeing one of the old Yitzies from
No, maybe Nachman
yes,
Yakubovich.
any of them, you know,
that's
but
awesome.
no one was there. But yes, I almost got ran over multiple times, crossing the street, trying to park, crossing a red light. There's a million blocks that don't have
Stop
lights or
signs, right.
They just keep driving.
You know, they all drive like God is always with them. That's the problem.
Right, like Glopite's gonna run out of poppers. They had to get there before.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. Glopite.
Fell out of
I
Glopite?
fell out completely. I feel like
So
the food's not fresh.
Let me tell you a tip on Glopite. Never eat there by night, only by day.
Because they make all the food in the
make
morning.
Everything in the morning. When you go for lunch, the chicken is delicious and tender. When you go by night. So Stephen Gindley, that was for you.
And this is if you only know, this is a Glopite connoisseur right here.
I haven't been there in a while, but
You know what I mean? By the way, also shout out, once you're talking about Lakewood, Southside, the new Southside is
So good.
pretty good.
So good.
I actually see a lot of SYs there from Deal. Like, it's a known thing now. The Dagwood sandwich, mwah. Their brisket, their burnt ends. Sabon, we have to go to this place, Southside.
Yeah,
we used to have the truck come to the field. That's the old owner. The new owner stepped it up a notch.
We should before the league starts maybe have like a captain's dinner.
Definitely.
Of course, with you and
No reason for it. I think we delivered, and I think we're at the 33-minute mark, the happy medium. It's good.
Yeah, we'll let the people decide if we delivered. I think we did. And
How about I decide for the people? We delivered. What do you want?
I believe we did deliver. It was a great show. Thanks for having me. I'll come back on anytime.
We love you.
Love it.
The car is always open.